Hello, everyone. Today, I'm actually going to be talking to you about women's titles in chess because basically, recently, I'm going to give a quick explanation of why we're talking about this. On Twitter, as all sort of chess things seem to stem from, basically, I saw a post and it was by the first ever women's grandmaster from India. Okay. And I'll read out the post for you so we're all on the same page. She posted, I saw your article yesterday at Chess by Charlie, which is by Charlie Rameshbabu's Twitter page, and I was visibly distraught. As India's first women grandmaster, I feel it deeply unfair and hurtful that you would suggest abolishing these titles. You mentioned these titles create a false sense of achievement, yet they played a crucial role in your own rise to recognition. If you really believed they were so, I wonder, why take them regardless of their low value? Erasing these titles would undermine the struggles we've faced. We've deserved respect for our progress, not erasure. And basically, the article is titled, it's in Time Sport, and it says, World Blitz bronze winner feels such norms merely give a false sense of achievement, which is not required anymore. And then the bigger title is, Women's Grandmaster title should be abolished by Charlie. Now, it's sort of I think it's a really interesting topic. I know it's sort of widely debated if we should keep these women's titles, and it's interesting to actually hear someone who's had that women's grandmaster title or like women's international master titles, all of that type of thing, and then has gone on to get the official grandmaster title and sort of hear their opinion on it. So we're gonna basically cover that today. Okay. So there are 4 different women's titles, and there's the Women's Candidate Master, Women's FIDE Master, Women's International Master, and the Women's Grandmaster title. So to become a Women's Grandmaster, you have to have a FIDE rating of at least 2300 and 3 norms of 2400 performance rating. And also, like, you can immediately sort of get a norm through winning certain tournaments. So, like, the winner of the World Girls Junior Championship will automatically be awarded the Women's Grandmaster title. So with Women's International Master, again, you need a FIDE rating of 2200 and 3 norms of 2250 performance rating. It's required, and runners-up in some championships are already automatically given the Women's International Master title. So Women's FIDE Master, you have to gain a FIDE rating of 2100 or more. And Women's Candidate Master, it's the lowest ranking title that can be awarded by FIDE, and you have to get that title by having a FIDE rating of 2000 and more. So if we look at this in comparison to the open chess titles, if you want to be a grandmaster, then you have to have a FIDE rating of 2500 or more, and then you have to get the norms as well, which has to be a performance of at least 2600 over 9 or more rounds, which is their performance rating. International Master, it is 2400 or more. FIDE Master title is achieved by an ELO rating of 2300 or more. And a Candidate Master is an ELO rating of 2200 or more. Now, to me, as like a female chess player, in a way, it does sort of, I guess, feel a little bit strange in a way that the women's titles are sort of worse than the open titles. It feels quite restrictive in a way. I mean, it's not restrictive like at all, because if I wanted to, if I was a lot better at chess than I actually am, and I was like, yeah, I wanna be a grandmaster, then I can still go for that title whilst also simultaneously holding the title of women's grandmaster, women's international master, that type of thing. So just because you have the women's title as well, it doesn't really mean that you're blocked or barred from having the open title. So some people on Twitter have basically been voicing their opinions on what Vaishali said, and then also what India's first women's grandmaster said. So someone I follow called Sam, she posted, these titles literally help girls and women receive funding from their federation while at a lower rating. More funding equals easier access to playing chess. therefore reducing the gender gap and giving more opportunities to play and become stronger. Now, I understand this opinion and everything. Like, quite often in tournaments and everything, if you are a title player, you don't need to pay the entry fee. Um, you sort of just sign up for a tournament. They won't charge you or anything, and you can just come and play, which obviously great. It means you've got more of an access to playing, and you're already a rated player, which kind of gives you more of an opportunity to play against other better rated players and sort of gain elo, obviously, but also cash prizes. Chess is a very cash incentive game, although it's not as well paid as other tournaments, as other sports even. Like, I'm pretty sure in 2020, so in 2024, I know it was published recently, like how much some chess players earn, and there was only two chess players from tournament prize winnings that earn over $1 million, which was Ding Liren and Gukesh, because they were playing in the World Chess Championship. And the prize for that's obviously a lot higher than your average tournament in England in the middle of nowhere. I think it's really quite difficult to sort of come up with a definitive decision on whether we should abolish certain titles, like the women's titles, and just have the open titles or not. Because although the women's titles obviously give girls and women something to, you know, work towards, and it can sort of come at an easier access than the open titles, it also kind of perpetuates this idea that women need that extra help and sort of kind of need a leg up in a way, that help to be able to actually get a title. It kind of inherently pushes the decision on the idea that women are worse than chess than men. Yeah, I think it's quite a difficult thing to consider, really, because if you have that access to funding and you have that access to sort of training and coaching properly and everything, then it is going to be easier for you to reach a higher rating and to have that official, grandmaster title, rather than just having to settle in a way for women's titles. But then again, at the same time, you sort of still have the opportunity that you don't have to settle for the women's titles. You can just keep learning and keep playing and getting your elo higher. It's interesting. I think the abolition of the women's titles and everything would definitely sort of need to be something that was actually studied into a lot more, be something that we would sort of learn the effects of, and why we even have the titles in the first place, and why we think maybe it needs updating. Not It doesn't necessarily mean that we should abolish them. I think that there's a good argument to be made for people, and that we actually, how about we revisit the titles? How about we sort of change things with them, but we can still keep the titles? I don't sort of see why that's something we couldn't consider, or at least FIDE couldn't consider. Don't even get me started on FIDE. You guys know how I feel about that company. I think at the end of the day, the main thing for me is that we get more women playing chess in general. Um, you know, if we give them more of an access to chess, whether that's online or through actual tournaments in their countries and places near them, then it gives them more of an opportunity to thrive. So it's like Bodhana, who plays for the UK. She was born in 2015. Fucking hell. She's 10 years younger than me. That's crazy. And she's a women's FIDE master. So in the standard ratings, her rating is 2055. And it's like, it will very quickly become apparent how well she's going to do in the future and everything, considering she's not even 10 yet. She might be 10, I haven't checked. And she's already a rated player type of thing. For me, I think that's very inspirational for not only myself, but also a lot of young girls around the world who are playing chess with their dads or their brothers, that type of thing, even their mothers, and you know haven't had many women chess players that they see often. It's like, often in tournaments, the open tournament will be covered a lot more than the women's tournament. Um, and it becomes very apparent that there's this sort of disparity. I mean, it's like with the last women's World Chess Championship, I know at the start of it, we were all well, I was at least expecting Gotham Chess to immediately be like uploading videos like it was when it was Gukesh versus sorry, when it was Ding Liren versus Jan Nepomniachtchi, and he didn't upload anything, and I was like, oh, that's a bit strange. And then there was like this discussion on Reddit with people asking him, you know, why haven't you uploaded anything about the Women's World Chess Championship? It feels quite strange. And he responded saying how, you know, it wouldn't be good for views and it wouldn't be good for engagement and everything. And people were responding, be like, well, I'd watch it. Um, I'd watch your review of the games and everything. We want to see more about women's chess. And if you don't sort of give the opportunity for women to prove how good they are at chess and to actually cover their games, obviously people aren't going to watch it because they don't have the opportunity to watch it because you're not giving them the opportunity to sort of show everybody how good they are at chess as well. I know as well some people think that the women's titles, you know, like I was saying earlier, sort of put women at a lower standard or overall in chess. If they take the women's ratings, they're sort of like, yeah, she's a women's international master, but she's not an international master, is she? Um, all of that type of jazz. I think it's silly. I think women just need to be respected more. No, it's a big ask, I know, but well, it's not a big ask really, but a lot of people would take it as a big ask. But yeah, I think that women's titles shouldn't necessarily be removed, but I think they should be reviewed by FIDE and by like a, you know, a panel of different women's international masters, women's grandmasters, everything. Previous women's world chess champions. Like I think all of their input is needed. Um, and you know, Vaishali gave her opinion, and that's her opinion. She's allowed to have it, and I think it's important that we all consider that when we talk about these sort of topics. But anything you want to say, Alfie? Beautiful. I will. I'll love you and leave you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Thanks, Alfie.